Today's talk is entitled "A NASA Cover-Up, or do they lack understanding of our changing sun?" At the end of this video, I'll give you some reasons why I believe that they are somewhat fully aware of the process of what's going on with the sun, or at least what's going on in space. But for now, I'm going to analyze and give you a breakdown of these events, so that people who are watching my research can get a handle on it themselves, in preparation for what I believe is an unusual solar event, similar to that of which Hans Glaisher recorded in his two 15th century woodcuts. So, there is a thing on the internet which is called the Helio viewer. It's a little software package on the internet which allows you to put in a date, put in a time sequence, so images taken every 15 minutes, images taken every 60 seconds. And you can then say for how long, a week, a day. Obviously it takes a bit of processing power, and what you end you can also then state what satellite or sun observatory that you're looking at, and what frequency of light you're looking at it in. So that's the package, and obviously in me talking about these particular date range, you may find that the data will disappear. Anyway, I'll carry on. So that sets the framework for where this stuff comes from, and in 2012, the third of the 9th, what occurred was orbs blasted off the surface of the sun. Now these are the inset photographs, and what we have, the main photograph below, which is dated 2013, the 12th at 23 minutes past midnight, and that image is showing the orb with the strand again. They're not great, not as good as the 9th image, and what I've put in there is the solar event that Hans Glaisher recorded. It was also recorded in other solar minimums, and including in the Bronze Age as well, in the petroglyphs. So these events have been known throughout history. They form part of my all-bar wave research, and it isn't surprising to me. So I want to carry on with the analysis of it. Now we have 4 frames. These are all in sequence. What you have in the first frame is if you look carefully enough, there's 3 orbs, but because of the size of the image I put there, you can't see it. So you have 2 orbs, but there is a third there, attached to the sun. In the second photograph, in the third photograph, and there's a little bit of movement of these things. And in the fourth photograph, the third one is blasted off, and in the after the fourth photograph, the other one blasts off the surface of the sun. So I've cropped some of these images and enlarged them just to talk through what is going on, because I've worked this out, and I'm suggesting that NASA also have worked this out. So in image 1, you've got the third foot attached, where the white arrow is. you've got a third V-shaped foot, which is one of the strands that push off the orb, is attached to, now I will use the word surface of the Sun, but I'll explain later why it's not the surface of the Sun. The second orb is moving towards the Sun, or at best guess it looks like it's moving towards the Sun. In the second image, if you measure the distances, you keep this video footage at the same proportions, there's less distance between the orb and the Sun, so it gives the indication that it's moved towards the Sun. In the third image, around the attachment to the Sun, although I'll qualify that later, you'll see the two white arrows there, giving the one strand which is behind the other orb. You get like a ripple effect. When you struck a pebble in a pond or whatever, it's rippling round the attachment, like as though it's shuddering. So there's a shuddering effect of the attachment between the orb and the Sun, creating a vibration or a frequency wave, very much like a pebble in a pond. And then in picture 4, it's blasted off the surface. Obviously after picture 4, the other orb blasts off the surface. So this is now the so those images were from the 9th, and obviously these are now a sequence of the time. So it's the 9th, and then it blasts off maybe a day later off the Sun. So this is the time when it forms 3 strands. Where the white arrow is situated, just underneath that, there is the orb with 3 strands which is attached to the Sun. It does this prior to blasting off it. What you will notice in this image, obviously I can say it's the 10th of March 2012. It's at 1:06 UTC, and there is the arrow is pointing to a bright spot. In the next image, right, that bright spot has moved on the rotation. Well, there are 2 things that could be happening here. One is that the satellite is moving and the Sun isn't rotating, or the Sun is rotating and therefore the sunspot has moved. So basically, we know the Sun rotates. It may be that this is 6 hours, roughly 6 hours later. It's a 6-hour step on it, and yet the orb is in the same position. That's strand attachment. So if you divide the Sun up in from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock as a clock face, and 9 to 3, these orbs now are occurring in the 3 o'clock, the 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock segment of the Sun. And they are also maintaining their position on the Sun, but they cannot be attached to its surface, because that luminescence has now moved. Now this is important for science. If we're going to analyze things that are happening, we need to try and say, well, yes, look at this. This is what is happening. So what you will notice now is another 6 hours has passed. As you would expect, that luminescence now has moved from the central position away from the arrow, and the orb is in the same position again. And in the final image, it's moved even further away. This suggests that This suggests that the core of the Sun does not rotate, or that the orb is the orb in principle is not attached to its surface, and therefore it's attached to something else. And I would suggest it's one of these energy fields that the ancients knew about and built megaliths on them, and they align to the core, and at certain times of rotation they align and become active, and they deactivate themselves when the rotation moves again. So this orb is now maintaining its position, not really in relation to the surface, but in relation to its core, and suggests the core doesn't spin. However, that's a massive that is a major breakthrough in science. If that observation is correct, and it looks correct, you can look at it at the other orbs that are attached to the Sun. And to think that if NASA is getting this data, it's not analysing it, I would find very strange. They have brighter minds than mine, and more numerous sources for the data, and I'm sure that they already know that this interaction is going on. So I put up a video on my website. It's dated from 2013, February the 14th through to March the 11th, and in that sequence 3 orbs blast off the same quarter and same position, similar positions to the Sun. Now this may, and that matches up to 2009, the 9th of March 2012. So we have a little bit of a cycle going on, or we could have a cycle going on. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest, and I'll give you some reasons why I'm not sure, why there's some doubt in my mind. So on that video, it's a 20-second video, at 10 seconds you will see 2 orbs with the strands on them, and they blast off the surface of the Sun. They're not as clear, and I admit, as last year's event. How many of these events are going on? Probably a lot. So I now want to do a frame by frame analysis of a recent video I downloaded. So the 3rd of the 11th this year, 2326, and an orb is attached to the Sun. In the following frame, we've got the 3rd of the 11th. So these are now frames that are all in sequence from the Helio viewer. The 11th at 23:45, so it's moved on 15 minutes. And we have the orb. Then it moves over because it's the following day, it's the 12th, and we have the next image. Now bear in mind, all these are now in sequence from the Helio viewer. Alright, and the next frame in the sequence is 2 days later. Now I've been watching this for the last 2 weeks, the Sun, and all of a sudden this data disappears. So why would it disappear? Well, it's by chance, or is the Sun showing us things that, or And this is the reason why NASA know about this stuff. You know, they've taken down this data. This is the last. So they put up the news that the server's got technical difficulties. So I was going to put this video up and suggest that the Helio viewer would also go down very shortly. I wish, to be honest, I'd put it up earlier. I was working on other videos, so that then I could have predicted that the Helio viewer would go offline for those days. Now they may patch in the data, and they may stick some, although it would be very difficult to time consuming to put all those frames in, but without the orbs attached to the sun. And imagine if this is a daily process. So what you will find is there's holes in the data, days go missing, the thing goes down. And it's pretty obvious to me that NASA know what is going on. I think it's pretty interesting what we're looking at. And how long they've known that these events are occurring. We have the Illuminati, the Illuminati controlled Hollywood. So they're obviously the three legs. You know, suggested that these are going to be, when we see them on our planet, are going to be aliens in spaceship. And so, a NASA cover-up, or do they lack understanding of our changing sun? They are fully aware of what's going on, and you only have to ask Hollywood and see what they're putting out to us. The day the Earth stood still is a classic of it. The sphere coming down to the Earth. I mean, these people are deranged. They want to manage and keep control. And so over the years, I think you can go to NASA, the missing transmissions. The Canadian broadcaster was downloading live feeds. There were many orbs. You only have to look at the tether incident. The shuttle, about 10 years ago, I think it was now, made its highest ascent, and the astronauts complained of seeing photons in the cab, inside the space shuttle. Even with their eyes closed, it was reported. I went to download it from CNN and it disappeared. Obviously they realized that magnetic field and orbs go together. It was one of the predictions, and the reason why I was looking at this, why I was looking at space in general. The closer you get to the Van Allen belts, the more of the orbs you will see. The closer you get to the heliosphere, more orbs you will see. And they found the magnetic bubbles in the heliosphere. They found it in the Van Allen belts. Edgar Mitchell talks about beings or UFOs in space. And so NASA owe it to the people who paid the taxes, you know, the money that they are funded from, to come clean about what they know about space and what this stuff is. They should obviously try and approach me. I wrote to them, as I said in many videos, about eight years ago, suggesting that I could help them with the understanding, because of the years of research I put into the all-barb wave. This is just the prana-chi or fractal string theory. They won't get away with this alien invasion. They may hold this alien invasion theme for a while whilst we watch this. but eventually people will realize they're not spacecraft. This is the missing mass of creation. Thank you very much, everyone. I will be doing another video on this in relation to the geoglyphs that are painted on the floor in Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much. Goodbye.